Patients often ask me about the healing process after a hair transplant. Well, you're in luck because one of my incredible patients, Max, documented the entire post-op recovery process just for you. We hope this helps you understand what to expect and how to best plan for recovery. Keep in mind that upon request, we can sometimes do a no-shave approach to the recipient and/or the donor areas, which might change your experience somewhat. Without further ado, here's Max's step-by-step post-op recovery journey.
So it's been about 24 hours since I left Dr. Linkov's office after the transplant. Everything's been going pretty well. I actually slept pretty well last night, got about 6 to 7 hours of sleep. Today I've just been kind of taking it easy. Haven't really had much pain, haven't had any kind of bleeding or oozing from the recipient or donor sites. I have noticed maybe a little bit of swelling here in my forehead that might start to kind of creep down my face. But overall, it's been pretty smooth sailing. So it's day 2 after surgery, still feeling pretty good, not really any pain. Definitely noticing some more swelling kind of concentrating on my forehead and sort of starting to move down my face. Also starting to feel a little bit itchy in the recipient areas. So just having to resist the urge to itch them. Did my first water pour over of the recipient site today and that went pretty well. So overall things are looking nice. So it's day 5 since the transplant. Been healing pretty well the last few days. Not much has changed, although I guess in the last day and a half or so, I have noticed that some of those scabs up there that have kind of dried out have started to fall off. So you can actually see some of the transplanted hairs themselves, which is pretty cool. So in the next few days, I'll probably start to work out some more of those crusts in the shower. Obviously still being pretty careful to make sure I don't damage anything, but definitely starting to see some change from day 1, which is encouraging. So I am 3 weeks post-transplant now. I haven't made an update in a little while. I had a follow-up appointment with Dr. Linkov a few days ago. Got some questions answered. I think overall, we're both thinking that things are looking pretty good and progressing pretty normally. I went back to work. No one really at my workplace knew just by looking at me that I had had a transplant. They kind of just noticed that I now have shorter hair. So that was nice to see that within about 2 weeks, I was kind of back to looking normal. I am definitely starting to see in the last few days a little bit of shedding, especially right there in the recipient areas, which is a little tough to see, but I mean, it's not really necessarily shocking because I knew that it was part of the process going in, and this is a long process and this is kind of just the next step. So in a way, it kind of reminds me that time is passing and I'm getting closer and closer every day to getting my final result, even if that's still a long way off. So that's good to see. I'll probably go for a haircut in the next few days because as you can see, my donor area, sides and back, have actually grown in really nicely in terms of like thickness and density, just because it's not a DHT sensitive zone, obviously, and the hairs are just much stronger in general there. While my kind of mid scalp has sort of lagged behind a little bit, and I think I want to just get a cut to sort of even things out. In the last few days, I've been using some Topic Fiber product, but it's actually proved a little bit difficult to get out even in the shower. It kind of just clumps up a little bit, and it seems like it kind of just requires a little too much maintenance. So I'm not sure if I'll continue with that, especially as the hair grows out more and gets thicker kind of overall. So I am 2 months post-transplant now. Haven't done an update in about a month. Haven't really seen too much change with the hair in the last month, although I wasn't too surprised because I kind of know that that's sort of where I'm at in the process. I had shed most of those transplanted hairs about a month ago and they haven't grown back in yet. Probably not going to expect that for the next month or two, but I am looking forward to that and just sort of waiting patiently, or as patiently as I can. Other than that, I've gotten a haircut. I might go for another one in a few days just to keep the sides and back kind of even with the top of my head, the sort of the DHT sensitive area, which is pretty noticeable in terms of its lesser density compared to everything else. But I think everything's looking pretty good. Everything feels fine. No itchiness or pain or anything. So now it's kind of just playing the waiting game still. So I am now 3 months post-op from my hair transplant, and as you can probably see already, there is definitely some change since the last update I made about a month ago when the transplanted areas were pretty bare after the hair shafts had shed from the procedure. But now I'm actually seeing a fair amount of growth starting, especially within the last week or two, in the transplanted areas, a little bit more on this side than this side for some reason. Really excited because I can actually see the shape of the new hairline as it's coming in, and I really like the shape. I think it looks really nice and natural, and I'm super excited to see the growth over the next month and two as everything grows in longer and more dense, and I can see an even fuller result. So I am about 4 months post-transplant now. I'm actually about 4 months in a week since I kept forgetting to make this update. But I definitely wanted to make this update because a lot has changed in the last month. A lot of the transplanted hairs that were previously not really coming in have come in. They've grown longer and they have also thickened. So it has really created a new appearance now, which I'm really thrilled with. The shape of the hairline I think is fantastic. I think that already it blends in really nicely and is looking pretty natural. And as the days go on, I'm just noticing that basically all across the transplanted area, everything is kind of evening out. Whereas I think I alluded to in the last video that everything was coming in a little bit quicker here on the right side of my head. That's still kind of the case. I still see a little bit disparity in sort of in the density between the two sides, but it is evening out and really coming together super nicely. So I am 7 months post-transplant. Haven't made an update in a while. I did have a follow-up appointment, a virtual follow-up with Dr. Linkov last month where he looked at my results. We discussed them. He answered some questions I had, and it seems like overall my progress has been really good. The timeline, the sort of general expected timeline has been pretty much right spot on. So as you can see, I've got a lot more coverage across the transplanted areas now. Seems like most of the hair has grown in. Maybe there's a little bit more left to kind of pop to the scalp. But now the progress that I'm seeing over time is really more a thickening of the hair that has already grown in. And some of those disparities that I was talking about previously in the densities from side to side has started to even out. And they've got definitely a more sort of even look, and it's really great because the new shape is definitely there. And if I still have progress left to make, that's really encouraging because I'm already quite happy with the result. So this is an 8-month update post-transplant. You can see I'm in a different location here. I'm actually in Puerto Rico, where I'm working here for the next few months seasonally. The results have been really great. It almost seems like the progress slows down a bit, I guess, over time, because all the hairs have pretty much come through as far as I can tell. I think the results I'm seeing now are more a result of, again, more thickening, more kind of naturalization, I guess, of the hairs. They seem like they're really easy to blend with the rest of the hair on my head now, and that they kind of grow definitively in the right direction, whereas previously they were a little bit more frizzy, they were a little bit more difficult to manage. It's a huge transformation, and I can tell because there's a lot of people who I hadn't seen since before the transplant, since right around this time last year when I was down here, and they've noticed the change. I mean, it's been significant. So super excited to see what the next few months hold. If there's even more progress, I'd be happy with this result as is, to be honest. And I will be seeing Dr. Linkov in March for an in-person follow-up, so that'll be great.
So this is a 9-month follow-up video. Not too much to report in terms of changes from the last month. My hair is obviously growing in longer. I'm actually planning to get a haircut in a few days to kind of clean things up, even things out as the new hair is kind of normalized and kind of grown in tandem with the rest of my existing hair. Due to see Dr. Linkov next month for a follow-up, so that'll be really exciting to get to document my whole experience, and then of course, eventually see everything put together for the process from start to finish. I mean, it feels like it's been a long time, but at the same time, it hasn't. I mean, it's been less than a year, and there really has been a huge change.